Juraj Slafkovsky scores his first NHL goal in front of a packed Bell Center. Xhekaj destroys Zach Kassian in a fight, and Nick Suzuki summoned his inner Pavel DATSYUK on a penalty shot goal. We're going to get into all of that in this game reaction version of Habs Digest. Hello, bonjour, and ahoy to all our Slovak viewers who might be tuning in to this Juraj Slafkovsky special. And Jesse, we got to get into this right away. I mean, what a game that was from the boys. Juraj Slafkovsky's first goal, Xhekaj fight, Suzuki goal, Gallagher goal. I mean, but we got to talk about the man of the hour first. The first star of the game on TSN, Juraj Slafkovsky. And I'll be the first one to say, gratulujem, Juraj. Congratulations. What a moment.
Well, Slafzilla strikes. You've heard it here first. The new nickname for Juraj Slafkovsky, our new star winger. Yeah, he really came to play. He was knocking at the door, and finally he broke through tonight. Showed a little bit of that fire after that goal that really got him selected first overall. I just love seeing that.
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, Brown came after him, hit him a bit high. Slafkovsky saw it, didn't care, played on. Of course, Xhekaj went after Brown, but that forechecking from that fourth line tonight was phenomenal, and it is what led to Slafkovsky being able to get the steal, the nice snipe glove side, and the point and words that I'm not going to repeat in this video to Josh Brown's face.
Yeah, you didn't need to speak Slovak to be able to understand what he was saying
No,
there.
Sir. No, sir. That was just such an awesome shift. And I wanted to talk, too, about Slafkovsky's ice time. This was by far the most he's played in a game this season. I believe he was over 14 minutes, beating his old personal best by a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I mean, I know we were off to a big lead early, but I think that Martin St. Louis is really seeing some confidence now from Slafkovsky as he's getting used to this ice. What do you think?
Yeah, and he's really deserved it. And what I like is that, Marty St. Louis, as a player, he knows what it's like to have to deserve it and to earn your ice time. So I think it's a little bit of tough love, but he's making them do the same thing. Even though he's the first overall selection, we're all super excited about him going into this year. He's saying, you know what, you're still going to need to earn it. And I think looking back on this in retrospect, we're going to be happy that there's a little bit of tough love, that he said, okay, you're going to need to earn every single minute out there. And he's proven it so far. And I just can't wait to see where this game and this performance today is going to take him going forward.
Jesse, do you think he earned a spot on a higher line after his performance tonight?
Well, he's showing really good chemistry so far, especially with Evans. And, I think a lot of us could see that already coming in. I mean, with the speed and hustle of Jake Evans, I just saw that really complimenting him well. But he's the type of player that he's just a good fit everywhere as he's really getting his bearings now in the NHL. Yeah, we're going to see him move around a little bit. He's showing that he's earned it, and we're going to see some greater line mates as a result of that.
Yeah, I mean, no, I completely agree. The chemistry, I mean, I spoke on it in the last game recap. I know you couldn't make it to that one, but I mean, the chemistry with Evans and Hoffman, and almost a surprisingly good forechecking line last game, and again they showed it tonight. Those guys seem to work well together. And as we were talking about during the game and just after the game, as you mentioned, if you have four lines that are all playing equally, who cares if you're put on the fourth line? Someone like Slafkovsky and Hoffman and Evans all played 13, 14 minutes tonight, and guess what? Caulfield didn't even play 14 minutes tonight. He played just under 14. So just because you're on the fourth line doesn't mean you're not getting those opportunities. And clearly tonight, I know we got out to a lead early, so that probably plays a bit into it, but St. Louis was just rolling with whoever was hot tonight. I mean, we saw a great game from basically everyone on the team. I don't think anyone had a bad game tonight.
Yeah, Montreal was controlling a large part of that play. That first period for Phoenix was pretty ugly. I'm telling you, that coach for Arizona, he was looking pissed on the bench.
Oh, yeah.
At some points, that they were kind of stuck at that 5 shots on net for almost going into that second period. So, they picked things up as the game went. But, I mean, Montreal was just in full control of this one for the large part of it, right? Just rolling 4 lines. And we were seeing a lot of that philosophy from Martin St. Louis starting to take hold with the team. And right, this always makes sense with a new coach, a young team. It takes a couple games to really get into the system. But what we're really seeing is that the play away from the puck tonight was amazing. And that's what led to so many opportunities for the Canadiens. Of course, their forecheck was amazing. And positionally, they were just so sound that inevitably, when you are creating those turnovers, that they were capitalizing on them right away.
Oh yeah, like there was no hesitation. I mean, we saw, like you said, right from the early parts of the game, especially on that Caulfield goal, and even the early odd man rush that led to Anderson's goal. Like if there's a mistake made, they're ready to jump, and we talked about this in prior games. Montreal is always ready to go as soon as something happens. They're almost like amped up on something before every single play. But you're very much right in that when something does go wrong, they're almost always they just so happen to be in the right position to do something with it, to capitalize on other teams' mistakes. And even when they're on offense, and an errant pass goes to the corner or something, like these guys are ready. They're always looking around, trying to see what's going on around the ice, where they aren't. They're trying to make space for themselves. And that's something we didn't really see last year too much before Marty took over. But finally this year, it's starting to pay dividends, and we're getting some chances that, like, I'll be honest, some of these odd man rushes we're getting, some of these, recoveries and possessions in the offensive zone, I didn't see that last year. And it's really, really encouraging, especially with these young guys, knowing exactly when to pinch, knowing exactly when to go into maybe a board battle, fling the puck out for just the smarts that they're showing, and the positional ability from all these guys is really a revelation this season so far.
Absolutely. And, they're making things happen. Like, how amazing it to see Gallagher is back, baby. I
Yes.
am so happy. As you know, this is a player that we all love. How can you not love a guy that just bleeds for his team every single night that he puts on that jersey, right? We all want to see him succeed. And it's because he's been playing so hard that he had that off year last year, just kind of recovering from a lot of those bumps, that bruises, that long playoff run that we had not so long ago. So I'm just so happy to see him taking the puck hard to the net. And what a snipe tonight on that
Whew.
goal.
Oh, I mean, just far side under the glove hand. I mean, Connor Ingram, I know he's a very young goalie. He hasn't played very many NHL games. But Montreal decided to, no mercy, take advantage of that early. I think his confidence was shook right away. First goal, nothing he could do about. I mean, odd man rush. Drouin should have had that tip in, but Anderson was there to clean it up. But that goal from Caulfield, he watched his team in front of him just pass off their own skates right into one of the best shots in the NHL. Caulfield shoots, and it just squeaks under Ingram's arm, and you gotta imagine his confidence is kind of shook after that with a shaking Bell Center. And then that Gallagher goal comes in on the rush, and I mean, Ingram did an okay job of cutting off the angle, but Gallagher placed it perfectly inside the post. I mean, like you said, Gallagher's been dealing with so many injuries, and what are you supposed to do? He had a bad year last year, but his hands and wrists and everything that helps you shoot and be scrappy was injured, but he finally looks almost back to his old self this season, and I'm hoping it's not just him. I'm hoping it's Drouin is back to his old self. Monahan looks like he's almost back to his old self. We found the fountain of youth in Montreal, and it's looking great.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm just really excited to see where they're gonna go. What a pass by Kirby there earlier as well. Just the no look that kind of started everything off tonight. Yeah, no, I was really amazed with just how everybody was playing tonight. I can't even believe what we're getting from Sean Monahan so far.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we've touched on Slav, and we've touched on everyone else, but I want to get into maybe the second biggest event of the night. We got two more major things to get into, but I want to talk about the Juraj and Xhekaj Kassian fight. Jesse, when I saw them drop the mitts, it took me a second to realize who was going at it, but for a second I was a little nervous. I'm like, Xhekaj is going against one of the most notorious tough guys in the NHL here. But the first thing I noticed is as soon as they dropped the mitts, they were a bit apart, and Xhekaj just charged at him. He went at him full speed. Kassian almost looked shocked, and just haymaker after haymaker. Kassian landed, maybe one or two punches before he was completely beaten and grabbed and thrown down to the ice by the sheriff himself.
Yeah, Xhekaj just completely dummied him, on that
Right.
fight. And Zach Cassian, this isn't his first rodeo. He's definitely been there before, so it's definitely saying something. But my question to the world is, who hurt Xhekaj? Who hurt this man? Who did him wrong in life? Because you can tell he's just got a chip on his shoulder every night when he comes to play. It's just, he's ready to go. So I think it's great to see. It's what we need on our team, especially with so many great young players like we have. We need somebody that can really stand there and drop the gloves when need be. And no, I'm just really excited. I think he's getting a reputation around the NHL really quick that it's like you're not going to want to mess with this guy.
No, I mean, he made that pretty clear in the preseason. I saw some rival fans saying, wait till he fights an actual NHL player, but we saw that tonight. And who annoyed him? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they made him do inventory at Costco. Maybe no one wanted to take his samples. I like to think that, he's built up this tough guy persona from that. Who knows? Maybe Costco was a tougher job than being an NHL player. I don't know, never worked there. But he has been so fun to watch, so physical. I mean, I can't help but wonder, like, will he stay on the team once we get our defenseman back? But I'm not going to worry about that yet because Matheson's not back till December. Edmondson, we just have no idea. I mean, he's taking skates now, which is good, but I want to see Xhekaj on this team as long as I can. And if he does eventually get sent down, I don't care. I'm watching Laval. I'm going to watch Laval highlights because this guy clearly has a future. If not for anything other than just a physical, solid defenseman. I mean, he's been everything we wanted and more from a guy coming straight from the OHL to training camp to making the roster to being forced into a tough situation as a young player. He's blown my expectations out of the water.
That's so true. That's so true. But we played a great game tonight and everything like that. But we have to face the facts that Arizona, that they're built with one reason in mind, and that is to lose hockey games. And that's no offense to Jack McBain and company. But they got some good young guys coming up, but they're really just targeting Connor Bedard, this year and everything. So we can definitely see that in effect, even though they won a couple sleeper games, as we saw against the Leafs recently and everything else like that. Not to be underestimated, but still definitely in transition. But it's just nice to see us getting these wins that we should definitely be winning for sure.
When they say the mark of a good team is that you beat the teams you're supposed to beat. When you have these great teams, say like the Lightning, for example, over the past number of seasons, it wasn't very often they'd lose to a bottom-feeding team. Very, very rare. Of course it happens. It's hockey. It's a low-scoring sport, and it's going to happen sometimes, but way more often than not, they would dominate the bad teams. And a sign of maybe a team that's fake good are ones that'll beat some good teams. They'll kind of beat up on some medium competition, but they'll lose more games than average to the lower competition. So far this season, it's been almost shocking that Montreal just they've competed in every single game from the first whistle right to the final horn at the end of the third period and in overtime in one case. But they beat up on this Arizona team that, of course, no one has expectations for. But all the other games they've played have been against somewhat solid teams. And they beat Pittsburgh, and I thought they outplayed them for the entire game, basically, except for a small stretch where Malkin had 2 goals, just a little stretch in the second period. It was similar in Detroit, where we only got outplayed for a small chunk of the game, and I thought we were with them for the rest of the way. So I have really high hopes for what this team can do this season. I mean, I was full on the tank train before the season started, but I'm starting to change my mind. I don't know about you. This team has this weird X factor, and I don't necessarily mean Xhekaj when I say that, but there's something there. Something there with this team. They are hyped. Marty is coaching out of his mind. I don't know. I don't know. Do you think this team can maybe fight for a playoff spot? I don't know if that's too early to say.
Well, that's how this whole team felt, kind of going into the season. You got to always feel that it's the players that know best, right? They're in the locker room. They know hockey. They know their players that they're playing with. And, we're just seeing, like Doc, like how great has he been so far? Mm-hmm. Caulfield being amazing, being dangerous. Like, is it really that surprising when you're having players of this caliber playing so well? Obviously, Suzuki leading the team in more ways than one. It's, we can't really be surprised. And we're doing this with a depleted decor. 2 of our definitely of some of our best. You could call them, some of our more experienced defensemen out. And like you said, Josh, it's a great point. We've been there in every single game, a couple bounces here or there, and we're really there every single time. So I think we're going to compete. And I said this, coming into the season, we're going to be phenomenally bad, but also phenomenally good at times. And that's what we're really seeing tonight, because we're a team in transition right now. So we're really going to surprise. We're going to go off on some win streaks. We're also going to lose some games as well, but it'll be interesting to see. I think around the quarter mark of the season, we'll see where this really pans out exactly. But I haven't been too negative at all this year, because you just knew that Caulfield was going to take a step up. He's already scoring like crazy since Marty St. Louis took over. He's one of the best goal scorers in the league. since Marty's been around, So you had to feel like that trend would continue. That's going to lead to more wins. And, that's what we're seeing tonight, plain and simple.
Yeah, I mean, they showed a graphic during the game since February 10th, since Martin St. Louis took over. That was his first game as coach, February 10th last season. Caulfield's fifth in the NHL in goals, and he's only behind like the likes of Kaprizov, Matthews, and I believe like two other guys. Just been outstanding. It's been insane. But not only Caulfield, I mean, we got to talk about Suzuki too. The captain, you wonder, does that added pressure affect the game? For a player coming into an audience like Montreal, the first time we've had a packed house on opening night in ages, and there's a lot of pressure carrying that torch to be the captain of the most historic franchise in all of hockey. But he doesn't seem phased at all. He's coming in with this new confidence, this offensive confidence especially, that is just amazing. The chemistry with him and Caulfield, and his goal tonight. That shorthanded, we created so many chances on the PK tonight. Our PK was amazing. I mean, our defense was great, but Jake Allen was also stellar until later in the third period. But some of those goals weren't really even his fault. He was stellar. He gave us an extra breath of life when it felt like Arizona was maybe gonna finally score. They were pressuring for a minute or two on the power play. Allen saved the day, but on that penalty kill, we kicked it up. Suzuki got a break. Of course, he was taken down by was it Keller or Gosse, one of the two. And boy, that penalty shot, I felt something. When he went in wide and was basically up against the boards, I felt something was going to happen. I was like, well, he's not going to snap it short side. What's he going to do? And I don't think I could have predicted that. I mean, that's a goal scorer's goal. Filthy mitts, silky touch around the net. Literally just looked like DATSYUK. Ingram looked like he just woke up out of a coma or something. He was stunned. He was frozen. He didn't know what hit him.
That's it. I don't think the league knows what hit them because nobody knows how good Suzuki is yet. We're definitely going to be seeing him in the All-Star game this year. We're definitely going to be seeing Caulfield as well in the All-Star game this year. You heard it here first.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, they're going to be there. He's one of the best kept secrets in the NHL. He's just such a smart guy, and I'm just so happy that we've locked him up long term. Somebody like that to really build our team around. This guy is just at the tip of the iceberg of where he's going to be. Like, I knew he was good. He's better than advertised. He's just absolutely killing it so far this year.
I mean, not only just with his offensive talent, but his maturity as well. Like, you can tell he's clearly a leader with these guys. I mean, in every social media, video that goes out, Suzuki is just, I don't know, he's so well-spoken. And on the ice, he's talking to his guys. He's so calm, right? I mean, he's just the perfect young captain for a team like this. And I have nothing but high hopes for him and his surrounding cast moving forward. I thought everyone was great tonight. And I, you know what? I want to sort of, not necessarily related, sort of on a tangent, but, we're talking about how all these guys are coming together. I mean, we talked about the Fountain of Youth. I thought Jonathan Drouin, this was his best game this season, by far. I mean, I mentioned him, a couple days ago. Like, is he finally back? That pass across to Caulfield for the game-tying goal. Of course, Martin St. Louis or Nick Suzuki or one of them said, like, hey, that wasn't actually drawn up. He didn't do Burrow's play. Drouin said, nah, screw that. I see this pass, I'm sending it, and it worked. And tonight, he played with another level of confidence. I don't know if it was that play in the last game that gave it to him, but he probably should have had 2 goals tonight. That first chance on Montreal's first goal of the game, he caught a pass and he tried to tip it in, but he hit the post. Luckily, Anderson was there to clean it up, but it was a wide open net. If he was 2 inches to the right, that's a goal. I mean, sure, he should have had it, whatever. Later in the game, another Anderson and Drouin 2-on-1. Anderson outweights the defense. Beautiful saucer over to Johnny, but he could have probably chipped it over Ingram's shoulder, but he went to the backhand. Ingram unfortunately predicted it and made an outstanding save with the glove. So those are 2 chances that Drouin could have had to score tonight, and it's felt like that the past few seasons where he's had lots of chances, hasn't been able to convert necessarily, but I thought tonight, like, it was just a glimmer of hope. Like, 2 games in a row, we've seen him play extremely well, and are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing? Do you think that he could maybe go back to what we thought he could be those many years ago when we traded for him?
Yeah, like I think he's always needed a coach like Marty St. Louis, and as you mentioned earlier, that's the reason why he made the play in the last game to help win the game. Essentially, is because he's having that freedom, and that's the type of player that he is. So it's just, we all know that he's capable of it. So it's just like such a breath of fresh air just to see him playing so well. Just because We know he has the skill, everything else like that. And you got to feel like it's more of a mental game, maybe more of those mental barriers. So just having a little bit more freedom to kind of play and to make those reads, I think it's really suiting his game. We said once, he was a healthy scratch earlier in the season that once he got back, that he sure as hell wasn't going to give up his spot easy again, and he's really showing it. So it's a really nice look just for this whole team because he's capable of so much, and he's still got a lot of hockey ahead of him. So if we can turn this around now, I think that it just bodes really well for this Habs club.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see him getting healthy scratched anytime soon. I mean, I don't know if you saw the clip. They showed a replay of Nick Suzuki's filthy DATSYUK goal, and it panned up to the scratched Habs, the injured Habs, up in the seats, and all of them celebrated except Rem Pitlick, who just sat there, just staring into nothing. Like, you could tell he just wanted to be out on the ice. But Julien not coming out anytime soon for him. I mean, honestly, if there's one forward that I would take out for him, it's maybe Dadonov. I thought he looked not great again tonight, although he's shown his moments. He was better on the penalty kill tonight, but of course he was responsible for that second Arizona goal. But I don't want to harp on him too much, and I don't think he's gonna get scratched just because of his contract, and I think Montreal maybe wants to get some value out of him later in the season, maybe near the trade deadline. So I feel bad for a guy like Pitlick, who clearly really wants to be out there, can't find a spot, and we have other guys that'll be coming back maybe in the next couple months with Yoel Armia and Paul Byron. Like, it's a good and a bad thing when we have too many good, skilled forwards to put into the roster. I think we're going to end up having to cycle some of these guys in and out, maybe as soon as a few weeks from now.
Yeah, I mean, people are trying out there. I don't know if you saw the same thing as me tonight, Josh, but I actually saw Mike Hoffman physically hit somebody with his body.
What?
That's right.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. He was checking in this game. He's skating. He's checking, so it's, I think they just have the respect of a coach like Marty St. Louis, and how can you not? And I think it's just, he's getting the best out of some of these players that maybe they're turning a new leaf. We're seeing the back checking. We're seeing the forechecking with Hoffman. We're seeing now some of the hits and everything else like that. So we're getting a little bit of everything this game.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably the perfect game. I mean, it was the perfect team to go up against to get your confidence. I said before the game, Slafkovsky was getting his first goal tonight. This was the perfect chance for him. He did it, and I literally don't think I could have drawn up a better game. Maybe a Caden Gooley goal would have made me a little happier, because you know how biased I am towards my guy. But, man, I thought that was just that's the most fun I've had watching a game, maybe since those playoffs a couple of years ago. I don't know. I was so excited for everything that happened, and you couldn't have drawn it up better. Before we finish, do you have anything else to add, Jesse? I mean, I'm looking forward to the game Saturday. I won't be here for the recap, but I mean, I'm looking forward to just seeing how Montreal bounces back. Well, not even bounces back, continues their hot streak after these last few games.
Yeah, absolutely. You knew that there was something special about Slav, like coming into the season. Slapzilla. Just the buzz that there was around him, just leading up. Just you had to feel that there was something special about this player, just the way he carried himself, And I think we've seen the development, and now it's starting to show off on the scoreboard. So I'm really excited to see where he's going to take off from here. Really excited to see this next couple stretch of games. So I'll definitely be excited for that. Be tuning in.
Awesome. Well, Jesse, this has been fun. What a great game to watch. As always, it's been a pleasure talking with you. And guys, again, don't forget to like, subscribe. Very few of you who are watching are actually subscribed. I know maybe not all of you are still around at this point in the video, but 95.2% are not subscribed. So if you want to just click that button, if you want to see more of this, if you enjoyed it, feel free to. We'd love if you did. Share with your friends and family. This has been Josh Gosse for Jesse Poirier. It's been a pleasure having you, and we'll hope to see you in the next video.